Good morning, everyone, and happy Saturday. I get up pretty early every morning just because I'm done sleeping. It works really, really well. When I sleep at night, I get the best sleep ever. So I ruminate while I eat my breakfast and read the paper and read some of my spiritual stuff. But my grandpa's been coming up a lot the last few days because there was so much wisdom that when I reflect on some of my experiences with him, I see the wisdom in the moment. Now, you don't see it when you're there. And I'll bet all of you have had some of those same experiences where you look back and you go, wow, that was a powerful moment in my life. And so I'm Marla Copal, and I help people with their social media marketing strategies and skills for marketing and sales. I'm pretty much a skills and systems kind of girl. Now, on my off time, I am a health philosopher on how I can improve longevity. But that's my hobby. Okay, so my passion is to help people be successful in small business. And a lot of people step a foot, like they put a toe in the water of Lake Tahoe or a big lake and a pond, and they go, ooh, too deep. Ooh, too much to know. I never learned to swim. And those are the things that are inappropriate stop signs. They just aren't stop signs. So let me get back to my grandfather. On Saturday mornings, Grandpa'd come over to the house, and I lived in a small town, and it was really kind of fun. You don't know it until you're gone. But great grandma lived here, then we had our house here, then Grandpa had his house here, and then across the street was the other great grandmother. Yes, I got to know two great grandmothers, not my great grandfathers, but my great grandmothers. And then I got to know Grandpa, and Grandma was great too, and you'll hear about her one of these days. But Grandpa was one of those guys that had bluster. He's one of those old farmers. He is a businessman, and he makes decisions. He used to do this whoop 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 if he thought you were doing something wrong. Or when we were older, we were driving and we go whoop 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 whoop. That's the street, and it's like you either let grandfather bother you, or you smiled at his what some people thought was abrasiveness, and you enjoyed him. I think I'm lucky I got into the enjoyment side of my grandfather. So let me back up. I'm about 5 years old, and Grandpa comes over on Saturday morning, and he's going to go do what he does every Saturday morning. Good morning. And post your questions if you have any. But what he's doing is he's going out and checking the fence lines. Now, in this small part of rural Colorado that we lived in, tumbleweeds would blow up. Dirt would blow up overnight and actually get as high as the fence so the cattle could walk out. There are all sorts of things, or fence lines could go down for a number of reasons. So he'd go drive the roads if he could and run the fence lines to see what they were doing. Well, I'm little, right? So you get the dashboard of the car and you're looking up like this. This is the day before seatbelts, and you're just sitting there watching it. And all of a sudden, there's about 20 head of cattle out on the road. So Grandpa always kept a buggy whip in the back window. And so he said, here, you take this buggy whip and you go just twitch those cows and get them to move down the road, and I'll drive. I'm adventurous. I'm 5. I was a little timid, but not really, at least initially. The timidity showed up later. So I got out and with the buggy whip, and he got it for me, and so here I am, yay high to a 5-year-old. I wasn't particularly tall, I'm just average, and I'm twitching. Well, there's this one little calf, and she's just kind of slow, and I'm twitching her, and finally the mother cow turns around and just bellows at me. She doesn't charge me. These are white-faced cattle. They're not going to charge. They're not aggressive like that. But you don't know that at 5 years old. So I go running back to the car, crying and screaming. And Grandpa rolls the window down. He says, they won't hurt you. They won't hurt you. Just go try again. Well, some of you might think that was pretty cruel, but I trusted my grandfather. So I'm still crying. I didn't dry up right away. And I'm still intimidated. And I'm still like, oh, whatever thoughts go through a 5-year-old's head. But I got back out there, but I sure didn't touch that calf again. I just kind of waved this thing and didn't touch any of the cattle, and they all moved. So my confidence came back that, okay, Grandpa's got this going. He knows what. And we got him down to where the gate was. We got him back into the field. And we had a great time that day. We probably went into town and had an ice cream cone. I don't remember. But we would go to the grocery store. We would go to the drugstore. The drugstore in those days had a pharmacy and a soda fountain. And you'd go in and get your ice cream cone. And you could get a triple dip ice cream cone for a nickel. So, that was a pretty good Saturday morning with my grandfather. So what's the point I want to share with you today on Saturday? I want you to really look at the things that you're learning to do nowadays that you think are hard. And can you make them simple? Good morning, everybody who's on. So if you think something is hard, then maybe you need a resource like your grandfather or me, where we have adventurousness enough to go sample, explore, and make things simple. So my situation from Grandpa is so multifaceted, it's really hard to always net it out. But what I know is, in a simple way, he was teaching me how to take risks. He was teaching me how to just go ahead and trust my instincts, trust my decisions, trust my choices. There's a lot of voices out there talking to us nowadays. And some of those voices, they keep hyping us with, you can have this car, you can have this home, you can have this. I have finally found 2 communities that opportunity is there, but they don't hype it like I'm missing out. They're saying, we're a community and we're here to support you. We have training, we have education, we have mindset. And it's our job to serve those who want to take risks and help them understand the value of taking those risks and the value of getting more skilled to take those risks. And I like those 2 communities. They support me. And I was celebrating that this week. And so what's my point? My point is, we all get to take risks every day, but how we think about those risks and take them on is what's going to make us successful. If we're sitting here going, oh, that is too risky, we're not playing the game well. This is a game. Risk is a game. So what you have to do is you have to go out and say, what is it that I need to know? Or what skill do I need to apply? And you might have to grow that skill, but what skill is it I need to apply to do this? And I'm going to tell you one thing. Don't go for a skill that absolutely isn't something that you're going to hate. So what I mean is there are people who actually aren't ready for sales, but maybe they're educators. So maybe you want to find someone who can show you how you market your education through a system. Some of you might find a product you want to sell, but you can't, it's not authentic to you. The reason you're doing it is for money, but not for how you're going to serve others. So I find when I look through the world, I look at who it is we're serving, how we serve, when we don't serve them to give them false hopes. So my grandfather didn't give me any false hopes. He just said, here's how they behave. Here's what you need to do. And then the risk is diminished. That's pretty simple. So when you work with people like me or others, we might talk about success. We might have our websites with the word success, but success means that we come through and find out how you need to be served. And when we know how you need to be served, If we don't have it, we refer you to the people who could have it for you, and we help you get to where you want to get. So when people really hear me, they go, oh, I want to touch in. So when you go to my website, you get on my newsletter where I'm constantly sending some fun stuff. Maybe sometimes I have an offer. Maybe sometimes I just want to share a little thought that I had for the day. And then there's other times when you might want to talk to me. See, I'm not invested in you wanting to work with me. I'm invested in finding you a solution so you will walk into your risk. So, just like my grandfather's solution was when he told me that the cows wouldn't bother me, he says, you've got a head start on those cows. You stand back the length of that buggy whip, which is about 6 feet. And he says, you stand back and then you've got enough time to get to the car. Oh, so Grandpa didn't just push me out there. He had a solution for me too. And so what you want to do is you want to talk to people who have solutions, not false hopes. So if you're talking to people who have solutions, you can come back to them and say, I don't get how that's going to work for me. And they're going to be able to answer. If there's somebody who just says, oh, it'll work, then that's not the person you want to talk to. So when you have a buggy whip and you have 6 feet, then that's kind of what I am. I'm saying, get your buggy whip out. Come on in and say Success with Marla and see what I got. Get on my newsletter. Watch me for a while. You don't even have to talk to me. But when you're ready, the button is there for you to get in touch. And we'll talk. But you got to be ready to say, hey, here's where I'm stuck. I've gotten burned a couple times and I just don't know what to do. And it's like, okay, let's handle that self-doubt. Let's handle that issue you have where you trusted the wrong person and you're tentative about who you want to trust again. I get it totally. But I trusted my grandfather and it's paid off because there's a lot of things I do that I learned from him. And he was about service in so many ways. And so if you spend Saturdays with your grandfathers, I want you to talk to me. Tell me what you got from your grandfathers. Share with me how they spent their time with you and what you brought away from that experience that you value, that serves you today in your professional world. I'll talk to y'all soon. I'm here every day, Mountain Time at 8:30. And, once in a while, I'll talk about somebody else in my family. But, I'm a rich tapestry of experience because of what they shared with me. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.